So are you excited?
Yeah.
Thinking how I'm gonna get by. Feeling low and I can't think right, but I'ma sit tight, because if anything I know that I can get right if I just ignite this light inside of me. I am a masterpiece and I make no apologies. 2D, 3D, 4, 5D, I know exactly where I wanna be, yeah. More than believing, I know nothing can keep my blessings on hold. So if I'm feeling low, grab my sage or my incense and just breathe real slow and get in the flow. My inner guy will never lead me astray. I'm leaning into faith. I'm getting out of my own way. Let me tell you a secret. I got all this cause I believed it. I'm manifesting as we speak. Rely on me and my spirit family, yeah. Cause you know that people change and things don't remain the same. But that's okay, cause I'm on my way. Cause I'm on my way up. Yes, I'm on my way up. Keeping my vibe high, I'm ascending to the sky. I'm up. Yes, I'm on my way up. I'm not coming down up. Keeping my vibe high, you gon' see me fly. I'm up, cause I'm on my way up. Yes, I'm on my way up. Keeping my vibe high, I'm ascending to the sky. I'm up, yes, I'm on my way up. I'm not coming down up. Keeping my vibe high, you gon' see me fly. I am a conjurer. I am an alchemist. I am a transmuter. Now it's time to begin and wholly embody my very power might intimidate, but I'ma stand in it anyway. My shine, her shine, it's your shine. There is no competition, yeah, we are divine. So tell my blessings hello, cause good energy goes wherever I go.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, welcome. If this is your first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. So my name's Ayana Marie, and this is, I believe it's part 4 of what's now a 5-part series of escaping the UK during the lockdown pandemic and making our way to Jamaica. So yeah, if you're new here, thank you for stopping by. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe so that you'll be notified on all future vlogs, and yeah, especially part 5, which is coming up soon, like the crescendo. Like, yeah, I'm not going to say no more, but just make sure that you're subscribed so that you don't miss out on the final part of what happened with our journey of leaving the UK and making it to Jamaica. So let's go. So as you saw, we made it to Charleston and we had an absolute blast staying with my sister and brother-in-law and my other sis, and it was just, we had an amazing time, a fantastic time. Like, we needed it because the journey up until this point had been extremely stressful. I mean, we had a good time in St. Lucia. The beginning bit was, I think, a little bit stressful because we're still kind of like unwinding from everything that we'd gone through in London. And then the last part of St. Lucia was stressful because we were trying to get certain things done in time for us to be able to get to Jamaica. So as you saw, that didn't happen and we've had to come to Charleston. So we get to Charleston and we need to stay in Charleston for at least another 4 or 5 weeks because Jamaica's health ministry has requested for us to be out of the UK for at least 6 weeks. So when we got to Charleston now, 2 weeks later, we had to make our way to the airport and we picked a date that was another 3-4 weeks from the date in which we went to the airport. So that's all that. We're all good with that, comfortable that we're going to be here for another 3-4 weeks. 5 days before our flight to Jamaica, we need to fill out the travel authorization again. So we go online and we complete the travel authorization and we go to submit the form. It won't let us submit the form. They still have on the system our previous form as pending. So it was never declined, it just sat on the system as pending. So I'm just like, can the health ministry just sort themselves out, please? Because this is just a mess. Like, we couldn't get a response in terms of, you know, it being accepted or declined. You left it on pending and now all 6 weeks later is still pending. So Daniel calls the health ministry and like explains the situation, and they say they're going to get the old application off the system so that we can resubmit the new one. So about a day or day and a half later, I believe they removed it off the system and we were able to submit our application. Meanwhile, time is ticking because we also need to do our COVID test. But this time we're like, you know what? We want to make sure that we get a response back from the health ministry first before we do the COVID test, because we're not going to go through the process of paying, I think it was something like $120 per test, for it to be a waste of time because the health ministry hasn't approved our application. So yeah, we decided to wait and wait for a response. I'd done my research, so I knew that typically most people received a response from the health ministry within 24 to 48 hours. So I knew that if we didn't receive it kind of ASAP, that there's going to be a delay and we're not catching that flight. So we let another day go past and we haven't heard anything from the health ministry. So we get to, I think, the day before our flight or something like that, and we're like, we're clearly not going, so we need to go and get that ticket changed because we can't afford for us to lose those flights. So we decide to go to the airport and change our tickets. Remember, every time we change our tickets, it costs us more. So I'm not impressed, Daniel's not impressed, and we're like, okay, we just change them to another, I think it was another 3 weeks away, just to give us more time. So the following day was the day that we were due to travel, but we'd already cancelled those tickets. I look at my email in the morning and there's a response from the health ministry approving our travel authorization on the day of our travel. And to make it worse, they approved it after the time that our flight was due. So there was no way we were going to make that anyway. Plus, we hadn't taken the COVID test, so we couldn't fly. So on one hand, I was like, these lot are taking the mick. Like, they are absolutely taking the mick. But on the other hand, I was like, you know what? This is actually a positive because we've now received a response. And the next application that we do is going to be identical to the one that we've just submitted. So there is no reason on this planet why Jamaica won't authorize the next form. So yeah, it was like a bittersweet moment. We're like, okay, cool. At least we've got a response. Like, if there's anything that I've learned is that efficiency isn't really a thing in Jamaica. Like, just putting that out there. So, for the Jamaicans out there, don't come at me, but this is my experience, and efficiency is a bit of a challenge. So, I spoke to, well, Daniel and I had a conversation, and we're like, okay, let's see if we can call the health ministry and just get them to change the dates that we had put on our previous application, so that we don't have to redo the form all over again and go through this process and hope that they respond, because we've just had enough of all of that jazz. So he gives them a call, and to our surprise, it turns out that the travel authorization is actually valid for 10 days from the moment that it was authorized. So that means that you could use this particular travel authorization form to travel within that period of time. So with that, we're like, oh my gosh, that means that we don't need to resubmit another form, and we can just change our flights again. So we go back to the airport. We change the date of travel to a date that was within the 10 days. And yeah, we decided we're just going to go using that travel authorization form. So after we went to the airport, we came back home, and it was I don't even know how to describe how I felt in that moment, because there were such mixed emotions and such mixed feelings, and at every point there's been another hurdle. And on one hand, I was like, wow, we're actually permitted to travel to Jamaica. Like, this is what we've been wanting for like forever, and now it's happening, now it's here. Like, is this real? And then there's another part of me that's just like, but I'm going to miss Charleston, and I'm going to miss being here with Liv and Mishi and Pooh and just all the family and the kids and everything. And, you know, it was a bittersweet moment, but I was just so glad that we were able to travel. So the day of travel comes and we leave, I think early hours of the morning. We get a taxi to the airport, and we were on our way to Jamaica. So we headed that direction. We had a flight to Miami, and then a few hours later we had another flight from Miami into Kingston Airport. And let me tell you something, the story doesn't end there. Stay tuned for the final part of what happened when we got to Jamaica.